It's Sunday, November 7th, 2021. A part of this morning, there's been a bunch of different segment clips that I broke into different sections based on how they relate or don't relate, or how I need them understood in an overlay parlay kind of a way. This particular one, though, I thought it was a take on climate change. It is something completely different since the world is headed fast-tracked into a really dangerous area, still stuck in an Oort cloud of multi-volcanologists' problems. I also heard something about lava or that type of thing helps with battery thing, and that's a problem, big time problem, on pushing for the wrong chemical element, being that's number 3 on the scale. But at the moment, it seems to be the one that everybody's pushing for. But still focusing on the real issue. So it's like a dinosaur that already went extinct coming out to speak to the current decision makers on making better decisions moving forward all at once.
Or a sexy man. You're going to want to stay alive until Tuesday because it could be you.
This morning's commentary about the present comes from a creature of the past. At the end of week 1 of the Glasgow Climate Change Summit that's had a few hits and more than a few misses, we thought this video from the United Nations strikes a chord.
Apparently, the dinosaur lives at the same photon level that I do outside of this window with that light being turned so high. It's pretty funny. I said before to Nucci, as I was letting him watch this the first, I was like, this is how I feel when I go out on Bayside with my umbrella. I don't know why they're so frightened. It's just a lady with an umbrella.
You okay? You need a minute? Cool. Okay. Listen up, people. I know a thing or two about extinction. And let me tell you, and you'd kind of think this would be obvious, going extinct is a bad thing. And driving yourselves extinct? In 70 million years, that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. At least we had an asteroid. What's your excuse? You're headed for a climate disaster, and yet every year governments spend hundreds of billions of public funds on fossil fuel subsidies. Imagine.
Now, fossil fuel subsidies, I do not know what the humans have, or in multilingual complex structure, no less. I do not know what they've built that piece of the world puzzle into that everybody seems to go for. I do not know if that's a battery piece that has been misstructured or has been built too large in a goal, in some kind of like fossil fuel engine that's now like at such ferocious speeds, it is now causing lava fields and mines and more places that it exists to then fuel competition and more problems, because that's what it feels like at the moment. But it doesn't help the children, and it doesn't help where we're standing right now, especially myself, where I'm on like a vibrating piece of an artichoke petal, with my own dangers, human derived, not of my own, but it happened before I got here, and it's just steadily gotten worse, and now I have my own kiddos to worry about.
Imagine if we had spent hundreds of billions per year subsidizing giant meteors. That's what you're doing right now. Think of all the other things you could do with that money. Around the world, people are living in poverty. Don't you think helping them would make more sense than, I don't know, paying for the demise of your entire species? Let me be real for a second. You've got a huge opportunity right now. As you rebuild your economies and bounce back from this pandemic, this is humanity's big chance. So here's my wild idea. Don't choose extinction. Save your species before it's too late. It's time for you humans to stop making excuses and start making changes. Thank you.
It says, it's now or never. It says climate change could be irreversible by 2030. Without action, there's likely to be more flooding, extreme heat and drought, and the world's coral reefs will be completely eradicated by the end of the century. Now, I don't have the scholarly, learned staff in order to verify these statistics. I never got to that level. I'm still stuck in my own sky dome that is the photon light that's coming in, the UV rays are too high. I'm working on getting myself acknowledged for helping on that piece. But I know there are other people who have other priorities. I get that. So I don't know how the Television Committee works on broadcasting and networks and so on and so forth. But throughout my life, this was, I guess, what current events were. It was supposed to be newspaper, so you could have article clippings and you could have a safety net and something that you could hold on to. But now that's been pretty much taken away and eradicated. And now it's more everybody's tuning to this television and these algorithmed, personally derived feeds on the device, the cellular device or smart device or whatever, which I'm also not a big fan of, but it helps if I stay in retreat of just a small one possibility of where it could be, and then I'll read through it and see if it is pertinent to my situation or not. Star 1978, star 8378, Nicole Cattaruzza. And this one says, that's a quote by the United Nations. Again, this sense of, it's never really been explained to me, and I'm having trouble defining it for my children, what this sense of nationality means or is, what the word looks like and encompasses as a pictorial for when one speaks about a nation or a whatever. I don't know how large that nation concept is grown because I've never had one. I mean, I'm inside of one, kind of, sort of, but because I'm in New York, I also have something called a United Nation where other nations come and apparently they send their children here. And so now it's multi-nation pretending or trying to find its way as a one nation, which is really confusing because then there's no sense of personal identity because now you're just in this melting pot and it looks like a whole box of crayons that was just melted into one whatever, and you're looking at it going, that's the only, That's all I can color with? Alright. So here we are. That's the unity flag that the sports folks and the nation folks around my television and audio cast, but I speak a different form of English than they do because they seem to be more learned. There seems to be all different layers of learned in some form of an English with fancy words and linguistical prowess that are tribal, which is fine. I just don't know how to protect myself from these creatures since I'm in this like transitioning, moving thing and my health is being harmed as well as my ability to perform as I was intended originally because of all different moving parts moving in the wrong metric prior to this day occurring. It is November 7th, 2021. I'm Nicole Cattaruzza. It's star 1978, star 8378. No, and it's Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361. It's Earth, Solar System, Milky Way, Universe, Galaxy is broken.